of our religion, because following them has its roots in Ihdina Sirat al-Mustaqim, Sirat al-Ladina An'amta alayhim. Surah Fatiha being the first surah, complete surah to be revealed to the Prophet, it very openly says that human beings need guidance. And this is the first dua of the Quran. Guide us on the right path. God doesn't define the right path. He defines those who are on the right path. An'amta alayhim. And who are they? The salawat on the Rasul and Ali Rasul, which is compulsory for all Muslims, irrespective of which fiqh they are following, which Islamic school they are following. Salawat is a compulsory element in salat for them. The reason is very simple. It links you to the Siratul Mustaqim through the An'amta alayhim. And therefore the salawat connects itself directly with the core of Islam. If you don't have these people, you don't have a standard. You don't have a hujjah. You don't have a dalil. You don't have a proof. And this is fundamental to move on the path of religion in today's world. Because religions have been a source of inspiration all through human history. They have been a source of inspiration, and when exploited, they have become the best source of human exploitation as well. Human ideas under control create heaven, and human ideas out of control create hell. Knowledge is the thing which puts you on the track, and that's what Siratul Mustaqim means. It puts you on the track, and from the infinite pathways which are available to human beings, it selects the only one logically possible, spiritually possible, humanly possible, and humanely possible. Now the question is, how are we to follow them, especially after the gap in time of nearly 1200 years? The answer is simple. Through books which narrate their traditions and the works produced by scholars concerning their authenticity and expanding and explaining them. So you go to the core of Islamic learning. You have to take it from the purest source. Because if you are wanting to follow somebody pure, and if the source through which you are following them is not pure, the original purity becomes meaningless. You are polluting it at the next level. You are taking something which is protected by God. Yutahhirakum tathira, but the way you are taking the message is spoiling the message, because you are adding your own desires into the desire of God. What made Ahlul Bayt was that they didn't want anything apart what God wanted of them. That is what their purity is about. Ma tasha'un. They don't want illa ma sha'Allah, except what God wants. So we have the pure people. Now the question is to see to get to them in the purest possible manner. And for that you require books. Because you can't write anything without a clear proof, because you're writing it for posterity. Anybody will pick it up and question it even after 1,000 years. It can be questioned even after 1,000 years. The spoken word is not that authentic. So therefore what was being spoken was Allama bil Khalam. That is the source of the human civilization. Once the human being started to develop a script, that is convert sound into symbols. language into symbols. Only then it was the coming of the human civilization. From the cuneiforms of Babylonia, Sumeria, which luckily have been deciphered from ancient Persian cuneiforms, the original cuneiforms of the Sumerians, that is going back 6,000 years, have been deciphered. We can understand what they wrote. So this is a human civilization which is in the written form for 6,000 years. A great, great heritage to have. And all comes through writing and through researches and through books. That is what it is all about. Books, and more books. But what actually can go wrong even after books? I was in the United States about a few months ago. While traveling, I could see in the plane people reading around you. They could be just reading. They open up the book, and an hour or 2 hour or at times 5 or 6 hours flight, they would have a book in their laps. Young and old. Once I saw a husband and wife sitting beside me. Once the plane took off, both opened their own books and started reading till the end of the flight. So reading is there. In the world, which actually is the mother of digitization. Computerized digital form is something which originated in the United States. But there, even today, I'm speaking about 3 months ago, we can see people reading. But whether the reading is with the name of God, Isme, Rabbik or not, that is the big question. What makes Shias is the Imams taught us to read in the name of God. Isme, Rabbik. What does that mean? Through the name of God. It means that you make your soul read, not your desires read. It's a very, very different thing when the soul starts reading. The soul is a strange thing. The body breathes to live and survive. Correct? The body breathes to live and survive. The soul breathes to learn. Whether a soul is alive or dead can only be determined by finding whether it is learning or not learning. A not learning soul is a dead soul. And the Quran says, "Oh Rasul, you cannot guide the dead." And it didn't mean the people in the graves. It meant people who were alive but were not alive to the living part of their souls, which is basically learning. Again, learning goes back to books. It's books and more books. And in the name of Allah, in the name of your God. That is the tradition which we have got from the Ahlul Bayt. Therefore, knowledge is preserved and transferred through the written word. In our modern times, when knowledge and more so science is being converted into technology at great speed and changing the world as never before, it is clearly and obviously creating two groups. Two groups are coming. Two groups are being formed. The first group at the forefront of this change, making new scientific discoveries and converting them into technology. This is the first group. The second group, consuming the products of technology and technological advance. What are we now? Are we the first or are we the second? Take Iran away, keep Iran aside, and you will find we are totally into the first, into the second. We are not producing knowledge. We are not producing seminal works. We are not producing cutting-edge technologies because we are not reading and studying. But consumption of all this, we are consuming it like no one else. The technology is giving us everything without our being participants in it. So those who are just using technologies, knowledge does two things. Basically, it liberates you. And in your not using it, it makes you slaves. So knowledge, if you get it, Al-Ilmu Sultan says the hadith. Knowledge rules. So if you are having that knowledge, you will be ruling or you will be slaves. Are we not today slaves of modern technology without participating in it? We should have been the people who create the content. We should have been people, because in the name of God, when you are doing things, you are infinitely superior to those who are not taking the name of God and going into learning. Where is that difference being shown or indicated? We are creating proofs against ourselves before God by not approaching knowledge sincerely. And if you don't approach knowledge sincerely, you don't approach the Ahlul Bayt sincerely. And if you don't approach the Ahlul Bayt sincerely, you don't approach the Quran sincerely. And considering these are the two ways to God, your closeness to God is also not being done in a proper, logical, sensible, knowledgeable manner. And landing us in this world in a state of loss and enslavement, and afterwards, where God will put us, we don't know. Our arrogance in ignorance is seen to be believed. Our arrogance in ignorance has to be seen to be believed. We feel that we are on the top of the world where we are at the bottom pit of knowledge, just because of our being away from books, away from the name of God. Both are complementary. As I told you, the soul lives to learn, as the body breathes to survive. The choice is very, very, very clear for us. If we want to move in that direction, it's available to us. If we don't want to move in that direction, we are already there. We are already there. Religion slowly, the kind of religion which is being practiced in India and Pakistan, and I've seen in the West also, is not a religion based on knowledge. It's based on hearsay, it's based on emotion, it's based on poetry, it's based on everything which is not going to help us in this world or the hereafter. Our choices are clear. The decisions which we'll make will be changing our lives and the lives of our next generation, positively or negatively. It's now our choice to either belong to the first group or further be leaders of the group, inshallah. There's that. If we go into it, we'll be leading it, because we will be the only one who have their fundamentals sorted out. We don't have a fundamental problem at all. The Sunni world is stuck in Ibn Taymiyyah and Ghazali, one end or the other. They have a problem. Ghazali, in Ihya ul-Ulum, one of his most popular books, says that it is haram to understand mathematics. Imam Jafar Sadiq alayhi salam says that God has designed the world, the universe, on the principles of mathematics. Now, which modern thinkers and researchers are saying, the whole design goes back into a structure obviously created by God as a blueprint, and then that blueprint was put in the physical form through the quantum world and expanded on the basis of astronomical laws. So where do we go from here? They have a problem. They follow Ghazali, they go somewhere else. They follow Ibn Taymiyyah, they go somewhere else. Ibn Taymiyyah believes that God has a form. God has a body. Very clear about it. So you have to be away from modern science, you have to be away from even sensible, proper, philosophical and logical thought. Limiting God in time and space is the greatest limitation that can be thought about. So in one place, limitation is being brought in and expansion is being stopped. Mathematics makes you understand and spread. God's being a metaphysical reality, the creator of all other reality, becomes an expanding form there as well. Both ways they have restricted themselves. Their fundamentals are wrong. And what happens after that? You have Gaza where there is no complaint. The leadership is sans divide of everything meaningful. The glory of God is lost. The depth of the science is lost. And when Gaza comes, they look as if animals look at their own being slaughtered and cut without even showing any damn emotion, rather being happy that it's not them that is being massacred and the genocide is not happening upon them, it's happening on their brothers. This becomes the result of having your fundamentals messed up. Your fundamentals, when they are properly messed up, come first in the mind and mess the mind up, and then in action they mess up your action and they remove you from the path of Sirat al-Mustaqim. Any more proof required? No. Come back to us. Come back to the path of the Anamta alayhim, the Imams, the Ahlul Bayt. Where is the problem there? From where have been restricted? So when you have your blueprint correct, your fundamental established, but again if you don't want to move on that path, what are we doing then? We have everything cooked for us, we don't want to take it in. Why? Because we take pleasure in ignorance. We take pleasure in ignorance. Why do we do that? Again, because we don't want to purify ourselves. If you purify ourselves on the path of the Ahl Bayt, knowledge becomes like breathing, as I told you. Nobody wants to choke. None of us wants to choke. But we happily choke on the level of the soul. And do not allow it to grow and strengthen itself for its own and the benefit of all others, the believers as well as those who don't. But the spark and the candle which you have lit will go back and do a job which the ulum of the Ahlul Bayt have done in the past and are continuing to do in the present. Let us open up. Let us open up. Let us be among those whose first thought when they wake up in the morning is God and knowledge. That is what it was meant to start your early part of the day, dawn, through prayer. And then learning. If God is there and learning is not there, you will slowly start losing your God. Or losing yourself and your control to those who are godless. What has happened now? So you start your day with God's name, and your second most thing would be learning. Second would be learning. You bow down to God and then you start learning. So when you are starting your day with God and learning, and the end of the day you go into sleep in a state of wanting to learn more, I tell you for sure, I can swear, you will be dreaming knowledge. You will be dreaming knowledge. Your dreams will become purified. Your dreams will start giving you knowledge. Just not what you're doing when you're awake. What more do we want from here? What more do we desire? Everything's sorted out. Come together. Come together for creating knowledge and disseminating and distributing knowledge. And obviously knowledge will have to be distributed through books. So Shiism and books, specifically when they are read with the purpose of closeness to God, are like ibadah. And as has been mentioned, that learning is the highest form of ibadah. Because a person who doesn't know and prays and a person who knows and prays are two different entities, identities. So let us become those whom the Prophet and the Al wanted us to become. The closest people to them in the eyes of God. That is what actually Shia means, following them, following their each step closely, as if your life is dependent on it. Life of this world and the life of the, and actually it is like that. Actually it is like that. Yours and my life are dependent on this guidance, and it all comes through properly written books which are available to us. And may God take us on this path through the path of books. Thanking all the publishers who are making a lot of effort, putting in everything they have for the sake of God. Qurbatan ilallah. At least now we should, with this hujjat being completed, start reading Qurbatan ilallah. Thank you.